City of Dunkirk Common Council meeting for May 21st, 2019 at 5:37 p.m. I apologize for the tardiness. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Here.
Councilmember Heenan.
Here.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Here.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Yes.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could ask all of you to remain standing for a moment of silence for the passing of retired Police Lieutenant Walt Slawinski. Thank you. Certification of the prior meetings.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, May 7, 2019 was presented to the mayor on Wednesday, May 15, 2019 pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter. All items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect, and witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and seal of the City of Dunkirk, New York, this 21st day of May 2019.
I need a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes.
So move.
Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. Reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case that individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at large Washington shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste or are slanderous or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limit specified shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time has expired.
With that said, anybody wishing to take advantage of privilege of the floor, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address.
Nancy Nichols, 212 Lincoln Avenue, Dunkirk. I'm going to read you this, so I might go off track. I would like to tell you a story. It's not some fable that's printed in a hardcover book. It's fact. In the spring of 2011, my late husband, as chairman for the Dunkirk's Harbor Commission, could be found driving around our city dock after his hard day of work. It was after one of these drive-arounds that he saw a need for a small green space to the north side of the fish cleaning station. He could envision walkabouts sitting at picnic tables just resting for a spell, people watching the fishermen, families watching the sunset, people having lunch or supper, and also fishermen waiting to get into the station to clean the catch of their day, or people just admiring boats out on our beautiful lake. So he took this idea to our then mayor. Jim explained that it would not cost the city any money, nor would there be a need to apply for any grant to create this space. Jim would be contacting a few local tax-paying city businesses to see if they would buy into the idea. The businesses all agreed that was a workable situation for them. To make a long story short, work began May in 2011. Concrete slabs were poured, picnic tables were secured into the slabs, and in 93-degree weather, our family cleaned up the small weed-infested area on the north side of the building. We planted, donated, and purchased flowers and low-lying shrubs, then spread mulch to conceal the much-needed rat traps there. Just to remind you, not one of us wore hard hats, had suits on, or had our pictures taken and published in the paper. We felt that it was not necessary. We did it as a community service for the people of our city, for those visiting our dock and our fishermen. To look there now, that wonderful place no longer exists. Instead of working around the area, you chose to destroy what blood, sweat, and local money created because it didn't fit into your plan. To add insult to injury, an appointment was made to fill my husband's position on the Harbor Commission by a person that I do not feel is qualified to fill those shoes. I'm not upset, nor am I angry. I'm disappointed. All I can say is, shame on you.
Thank you, Nancy. Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
My name's Ted Salgado. I live at 321 Robin Street, Dunkirk, New York. Although without going into detail of the events that happened in the city last week, due to the incident with a minor in the area, I've actually took it upon myself as a concerned parent and a concerned citizen to start what I call Peace in the Park. And every day I vow until the end of the school year and probably into next school year as well to be a presence of the community in the park between 2:30 and 4 o'clock every day, so that when outbreaks of fights or violence between children break out, that there will be at least a responsible adult in the area at the time in order to try to regulate the situation. And I'm hoping, I know the first day I was there, I was the only one in the park. Today I noticed that maybe nobody even spoke to me, but there was a presence of a lot more adults walking children, walking dogs in the park. I feel that in a movement such like this, maybe some parents in the area, because it takes a village to raise a child, it's not just due to, we can't expect our police officers and our government officials to watch every child in the city at all times. It's impractical. So I believe that concerned parents, if anybody would like to join me, feel free to join me every day in the park and just help make sure that our community and our children are safe, because it takes a village to raise a child. So I'm hoping as days go on that more people are present. I know that on Thursday, Reverend Waller will be meeting with other reverends in the area and other pastors in the area, and they're hoping to start up another network in that area as a religious type presence in that area as well. So I'm hoping that an incident like that does not happen again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the microphone and state your name and address. Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the microphone and state your name and address. Seeing none, privilege of the floor is now closed. Communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, I just have one announcement to make. Just want to remind the public and our council members of the Memorial Day Parade and the ceremony that we have, which begins at 10 o'clock at Memorial Park. And the parade will take the route that we normally take. And that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Moving right along, communications from the public and petitions.
Notice of claim from Lurcari May Rivera Cruz for damages caused by a city garbage truck allegedly backing into her vehicle on May 2nd, 2019 at approximately 7:39.
I need a motion to refer this to the Law Department.
So move.
Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye.
Number 2, request from Lakeshore Street Rod Association requesting permission to have their mobile lighted sign placed on the municipal lot near the Clarion Hotel or at the corner of the Main Street and Lakeshore Drive East early the week of July 1st to advertise for their annual harbor cruise on Sunday, July 7, 2019.
Any discussion, council? Motion to refer this to the Dunkirk Police Department. However, there is a contingency upon this. The Dunkirk Police Department approval would be contingent upon the availability of the sign. Since that is 4th of July weekend, we may have to need the sign somewhere else. So with the motion to refer this to the Dunkirk Police Department and that contingency, Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye.
Request from Dunkirk United Methodist Church, requesting permission to use Washington Park to host, along with other participating churches, a neighborhood block party on Saturday, June 29, 2019, from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Any discussion in council? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer this to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
First.
Councilman Bamanto with the first.
Second.
Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye.
Number 3, request from Dunkirk United Methodist Church, I'm sorry, that's the one we just did.
Yeah, number 4.
Number 4, request from the Harvest Chapel requesting permission to use Washington Park for a community block party event on July 31st, 2019, rain date August 7th, from 6 p.m. until 7:30 p.m.
Any discussion, council? I need a motion to refer this to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
So move.
Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye.
Number 5, request from Dunkirk Senior High School to have 2 police officers at the Blessed Mary Angela Social Center for the junior-senior prom on June 8th from 7:45 p.m. until 11:15 p.m.
Seeking a motion to refer this to the Dunkirk PBA. Councilman Bamanto with the first, Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye.
Number 6, request from Karen Schneider on behalf of Fredonia Middle School, requesting to bring her 5th grade class to do a beach cleanup, rocks and mineral exploration, a social studies scavenger hunt, and an outdoor art English language arts project at Point Gratiot on May 24th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m.
Any discussion, council? We need a motion to refer this to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions, with a very strong reminder that the group that is requesting this stay within the legal boundaries of the parks and not wander past any of those legal boundaries, because there are some very dangerous cliffs in those areas. So please, stay within the legal boundaries of the parks, and that is a reminder from our DPW Director, Randy Woodbury. First by Councilman Williams, second by Councilman Civiletto. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye.
Okay, number 7, request from Evans Elite Baseball requesting to use Promenschenko Stadium to play some baseball games. Their idea is that if they have a scheduled game and their home field is not in playable condition, they would have the option to move the game to Dunkirk if the stadium is available. They would be willing to work with Ryan Hall on scheduling use of the field.
Any discussion, council? I need a motion to refer this to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions, with the recommendation that they stay in constant contact with Recreation Director Ryan Hall if and when a case like this ever occurs, that he would be the first to be asked and notified. Councilman Bamanto with the first.
Second.
Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. We have 5 loudspeaker applications before us this evening. However, there is an amendment to number 11, so we will be seeking a group discussion, a group motion, and a group roll call for loudspeaker applications 8, 9, 10, and 12 only, and we will be pulling out 11 for a separate vote. Clerk?
Number 8, loudspeaker application from Keith Osmond on behalf of Lakeshore Street Rod Association requesting to have a live band and DJ at the Point Gratiot Brooks Pavilion during the Classic Car Show and Cruise In on July 7th from noon till 4 p.m. Number 9, loudspeaker application from James Bailey on behalf of Dunkirk First United Methodist Church requesting to use a portable sound system in Washington Park for their community block party on June 29th from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. 10, loudspeaker application from Jose Mendez requesting to have a DJ at Point Gratiot at the Brooks Pavilion on June 15th from 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. Number 11, loudspeaker application
No.
from Josephine.
Skip 11.
Okay. Number 12, loudspeaker application from Lisa Levitt on behalf of Harvest Chapel to use audio equipment and live and pre-recorded music at Washington Park for their community block party on July 31st from 4:30 p.m. until 7:30 p.m.
Okay. I need a motion to refer this to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. This is just for loudspeaker applications 8, 9, 10, and 12.
So move.
Councilman Williams with the first. Councilman Heenan with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. We will now be going over loudspeaker application number 11 for a separate vote.
Loudspeaker application from Josephine Vega requesting to use speaker at the lower pavilion at Point Gratiot on May 25th from 5:30 PM until 7:30 PM.
Okay, the date that's actually listed on the agenda and all corresponding paperwork is actually May 26th, so we need an amendment to change it to May 25th. I'm looking for a first in order to make the amendment.
So moved.
Councilman Civiletto with the first, Councilman Bamanto with the second. Let's have a roll call just for the amendment itself.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisham?
Aye. We'll now be voting on the loudspeaker application as amended, that all paperwork and the agenda rectify that it says May 25th and not May 26th. Need a first? Councilman Bamanto?
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll on the amended loudspeaker application.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wisham?
Aye. Thank you, everybody. Reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams?
All right, bear with me. Mark, I was just wondering if we completed or started the move to Community Bank yet?
It's been started, not completed yet. We're targeting 1st of June to have everything moved over.
Okay, thank you. Randy, that light at 2nd and Roberts, even though it was fixed, I think it's programmed still on safety. It's staying long on both sides.
We'll have to check into that. I have work fine for me today, but I'll have Mr. Spoke who put it in the 1980s, come back and recheck it. Maybe I should have him do that on a regular basis. He would like to start to replace some of these, so call to his attention. The instructions to him were to program it exactly the way it was designed in the 1980s and make no changes whatsoever. He told me that he did. So when you see it apparently misbehaving, let me know as soon as possible so I can get him in during the day, not call me in on overtime and have it correct.
Okay.
I'm going to insist that there be some kind of warranty to his work. So if it's wrong, I'll make it right.
All right, and I believe if the chief thinks I'm wrong on what I'm saying with it, I believe it's supposed to be green longer on Roberts, and then it's supposed to be triggered to change when somebody pulls up on either side of 2nd. So,
The loop's on 2nd Street, but it should remain green on Roberts.
and it seems like it's staying. It seems like it's changing like every 30 seconds both ways. So, if that could be changed, that'd be great. Also like to announce that we have a DPW committee meeting tomorrow, May 22nd at 4 o'clock in the mayor's conference room. And my last question would be for Mr. Campola. Do you know when we're going to be filling the maintenance mechanic position? I know that he probably doesn't officially retire till the end of next month, but he's been gone for a while.
We're waiting for the county to approve the job description changes. As soon as that gets back to the county, it'll be posted.
Okay. All right. Can we discuss what the job description changes were? Or?
Well, there was no longer that title. The county eliminated
Okay.
that title. So we had a new title that's similar to that. So we had to fill in the job descriptions to match the title. And once the county approves that, we'll post it.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Councilman Bamanto?
Randy, 400 block of Woods Road, near that fire hydrant, I see this water in the street again. Do you have any idea what that's from? Or? I know we had two separate issues down there in the past.
It's got to work, so I know it's that too. I will work with the plumbing inspector and we'll get to the bottom of that. And get it fixed. I got some theories on that. I'll be communicating with you and the mayor specifically on my ideas when I talk to the plumbing inspector.
And near that fire hydrant in the road, I think it was patched up before, and now it's gone down and come up to a point, so it's a little bit hazardous. If you could look at
We've got
that.
a multitude of problems right there because the water
Yes.
is a little bit uphill from that fire hydrant. So some of it may be related to the fire hydrant, some of it not. or we might have a combination. We would, we like problems and we'll fix them.
Thank you. David, where are we at with seasonal hires?
Seasonal hiring is moving along. We're getting applications daily. We brought people in to start drug testing, pre-employment drug testing. And we'll probably get a rush of people, especially the younger folks, as soon as high school gets out. We encourage them to come in before to get the paperwork done, but some of the kids wait till the last minute.
And how we doing on lifeguards?
Lifeguards, there's going to be not a problem, but it's probably going to come down to the wire of the lifeguards. As you know, a lot of the kids that were lifeguards in the past, they grow out of it. They want to do something else. They get older and they don't want to stand on the beach for 8 hours a day. But we've got a new advertisement program out. If you look at the, what's that? Spectrum 1301, it shows all about the position, has some pictures of lifeguards, and hopefully get the young people interested in applying for it. That usually comes down to the last minute, Marty. But we'll get there.
All right. Thank you, Dave. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Romano. Mr. Heenan?
Randy, could you give me a timeline moving forward, how we're going to progress on Seal Street? I've got just 3 small questions before you move on. One is, maybe it's 10 or 12 foot of the road that from Central Avenue to Seal Street that had not been paved. I don't know if that's something moving forward. The other one is all the loose gravel net on this shoulder of the road. Hook up the water. And the other one is I've noticed, and I know nothing about streets or paving, but it seems odd to me that where the 2 pieces of road embunked against each other, there's probably a valley there, and I don't know if it's a ½ inch or it's 2 inches, but it's almost where water would build up in the very much at the center lane, and I'm just curious to how that plays out in the future with the weather, with the rain and the ice and so on, if that is a possibility of tearing that street back up. We've made it through this year, but moving forward, it seems to be almost like a separation that could possibly occur in the future.
Sure. Let me address all 3. Thanks for asking the question. It's I know it's an area that you and I and the fire chief have addressed it when we've been here before, and we've extended that improvement to the entire Seal Acres and Seal Street area. So it's a good project. There's still some things to be done. The part that hasn't been paved between the edge of Central Avenue pavement and the beginning of the new pavement on Seal Street is left open because that's where we have to make the connection between the old line and the new line. So rather than waste money on new pavement there that we're going to dig up, I left that open for the winter time so we can dig it up and make that connection and then make a nice seal. We might remember that paving that we did do on Seal Street is only the first layer. It's going to be another layer on top of that, and we did that the very last day of available hot mix last year. So we squeezed that one project in. Rebecca was a little bit nervous. I said, we're going to make it happen, and we did. And I wanted to make sure that those fire hydrants went into service for the winter time because that whole area had been without adequate fire protection, and I just wanted to make sure if the fire department, God forbid, needed to use one of those new fire hydrants, I wanted to make sure they were done. So the concentration was to put the fire hydrants in service. We still have to make the individual house connections. That's going to stir things up even more. So after we make the individual house connections, we'll put the final surface on that, and that crack that you see in the middle of it is a joint that's going to be covered up. So that takes care of question number 2. And I'm sorry, number 1 and number 3. And remind me what question number 2 was again?
It was just all the loose pavement and then on the side, but I'm sure when they get to the water, they're going to be cleaning that up also.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll clean up the whole area, especially the Fox Street corner at Green Street and Fox at Seal. We want to make a nice sidewalk intersection there where it's ADA compliant. We did a lot of damage there, but some of it was just because it was old. So that whole, it's going to look a lot better when we're done, and primarily it's going to have a lot better water service, and on top of that, we've got 5 new fire hydrants that have more than 1,500 gallons a minute. It's a Class AA fire hydrant, where we used to have Class D or worse fire protection for that whole area.
And could you give me an approximate date of the finish date on this?
We'll do it this summer.
Good enough?
Thanks.
Thank you.
All set? Thank you, Mr. Heenan. Mr. Civiletto?
Randy, can you just let me know of the schedule? I know it's a county project for Wright Street / Cliff Star and possible Lower Ruggles, if they've given you a time that they're going to start that?
Right. The time that was mentioned at, we went to the, Mike Papiri and I went to the annual highway meeting where the county and the state announced their projects. They said that the Wright Street, that's now also known as Cliff Star Drive, was going to be milled this week that we're talking about right now. That announcement happened about 6 weeks ago. They may be running a little bit slow on that. Once that gets milled, the county paving will come a couple weeks after that, and it will give us time to readjust some of the receivers. There's some that are broken, so we're going to work on those. Once it's milled, we're going to do a nice job with the receivers, manhole covers, things like that. So it's imminent that the milling is going to be done. And we're going to talk to the county engineers and see if we can piggyback some of the work on Ruggles Street to be done at the same time.
Thank you.
Well,
And did want to give an update on the Public Safety Committee meeting that we had a couple weeks ago. There was a presentation given for a special advocacy program that the county has started about a year ago or two in the law department for seniors and challenged citizens. And both chiefs have agreed to train to recognize these situations that this advocacy group can help with. I wanted to thank both chiefs, and sad that Chief Edwards just had to leave, because they both agreed to train their employees to basically recognize these different situations that a citizen may be potentially vulnerable and need protection. So I wanted to thank both of the chiefs for stepping up and agreeing to do that. The citizens of Dunkirk definitely thank you, and so do I. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Civiletto. Just an announcement that the Finance Committee meeting will be this Thursday at 4 p.m. One question for Randy. I see they're working hard and heavy on Route 5 water pipes heading towards Silver Creek. Is that part of the North County Water District possibly in the near future?
it is.
It is.
Yeah, there was not a connection between Harrington Road and the conference center with city water until just now. People probably noticed that they were flushing those lines, things like that. That district was established, and there's a master meter at the water tank at the industrial park. And so the North County Water District said that's an easy, low-hanging fruit to make that line connection. So they've been working on that. One of our former city employees, Jim Fafinski, is the inspector on that job, so we do communicate from time to time on how that's going. They should have that whole section of Route 5 will be drinking fine city water fairly soon, and also have very good fire protection.
That does not include the village of Silver Creek, though, correct?
The village of Silver Creek will be another phase. Our water lines in the North County Water District will be building a line towards Silver Creek, but because of contractual arrangements right now, Silver Creek is buying their water from Erie County Water Authority. The mayor and I are certainly going to make a pitch for city water at the time of those contract renewals.
Okay. That's very good news. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
That is all I have. We'll move on to unfinished business, of which there is none, and pre-filed resolutions, number 52. Clerk?
Resolution for approval of 2018-2020 Consolidated Plan, 2018 Annual Action Plan, and 2017 Annual Action Plan amended for the City of Dunkirk's Community Development Block Grant Program.
I'd just like to ask Rebecca to comment on this, please.
Yeah, this is a formality in completing actually the Seal Street project. Our department worked together with the city's DPW department and Grandy. The project is funded through CDBG funding, and to complete the project and the payments, we needed to reallocate funding from 2017 CDBG to 2018 funds. It's part of HUD's reallocation process and amendments to the plan, so it's a formality tonight.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca. Any further discussion? If none, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorship?
Aye. Pre-file resolution number 53 will be pulled for this evening for further financial information. It is expected that this resolution will be reintroduced at the next council meeting. Number 10, new business. Any walk-ins this evening? Number 11, instead of a motion to adjourn, we are going to Mr. Civiletto.
Yeah, I'd like to ask for us to go into executive session to discuss a land acquisition or real estate.
There's a motion.
Not acquisition at all, a real estate issue.
A real estate issue, thank you. There's a motion on the floor to go in executive session by Councilman Civiletto. Do I have a second?
So moved.
Councilman Williams, clerk call the roll to go into executive session.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Nay.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorship?
Aye. We'll be going into executive session. There will be no business taken after executive session, so if you wish to leave, you are able to do so. I ask that Councilman Civiletto, since he made the motion, please keep notes on the time entering the executive session, the time leaving the executive session, the firsts and the seconds. Thank you very much. Mr. Livingston, this would include you as well.
This concludes our meeting, right, sir?